Hi and welcome back to God's Golden Acres. I'm Kim and today I'm going to be doing a updated and wild garden tour with you guys because we've been fighting grass in this patch, which granted we've been fighting that the whole time because we didn't prep correctly. We knew we weren't prepping correctly and it's been kind of weird. So it can be too dry because the ground is too hard to till in between rows. And then it can also be too wet. And we've kind of been one or the other. By the time you get around work, get around weather, get around personal life, you know, we go to church every Sunday, so that takes out a chunk of time on the weekend that we don't have time. And then just repairs. We've had the parts for my car to do some repairs. Granted, it's still functional for several months now and it hasn't been done. Our Aveo had the transmission go out, so we had to repair that. We have my brother-in-law's car. Now they are giving it back to us because it was a car we gave to them to use, and it has a few repairs after sliding on ice, which granted it's the middle of June in Missouri, so there hasn't been ice in a long time. So just lots of little things, you know. We went to go buy a hoe at the beginning of the season and they didn't have any quality ones. And we're still picking up tools because, like, you know, we're just getting started. And we got this weekend. So it is a long-handled, we call it a Dandelion Plucker. So that's for breaking tap roots. And we just got that 2 days ago because it's Monday and there's an auction that we bought that at. Granted, it was a group of things for like $4. Auctions are great, guys. I highly, highly recommend them. I should have done some video, but I had the kids at the playground. So here's my wild garden. You can see like the grass is like taken over. So we will till again through here and I will try to take the hoe through and the dandelion poker and get all the big weeds out in between. Although really, I can't say I'm unhappy with my first garden here this year and my first garden as an adult. We gardened a lot as kids and we had plenty always, but it's different when your mom and your grandma don't make all the decisions. You're gonna make mistakes. It's kind of fun though. Although I'm finding more and more that I miss my grandparents because I can't call and ask them questions anymore. So we've had our first few off the paste, and I think I messed up. I think there's paste tomatoes here, and then these are my only Abe Lincolns, which is fine. But I definitely had them mislabeled because I thought all 5 of these were Abe Lincolns. And then our first purple brandy wine, which split. Granted, this is the very first. Oh no, Aspen picked the very first fruit. It would have probably been ready, and she picked it early. And then took a bite out of a green brandy wine. She decided it was not very good. So this is starting to turn. I think this one too is starting to blush. So I'll just cut around here out of this split. And there's blossoms that are falling off here because it's just been hot. So these will have to grow up some more. I need to come through and fertilize. We've got several on the purples. And we're just now getting some on the yellows. And it's just a few on a couple plants. I think the heat from this last week will make some of these blossoms drop, and then this week's supposed to be better. I'm gonna have through. This is my broccoli patch. My broccoli basically never grew. You can see how big it is. And I planted this well into the spring. So we're just gonna till this up. Then we're gonna put some compost on it. And then I'm gonna tarp it and get all of this to die for fall and just prep this square, I think, for spinach. So here, it's actually hard to use the hoe around my melon plant here. So it's a cantaloupe. And these were part of my single seed challenge, which I haven't made an update on. I need to. So, but we are getting little melons on it, and it's doing really well. I'm going to take that new dandelion poker, and I'm just going to poke underneath there and try to kill a bunch of it off. Broccoli plants under here too, which I will take and just hoe around here. And this will probably go straight to seed, which is fine. I'm hoping it'll go to seed. The last one I looked to seed got destroyed by a storm, and so then I didn't get any seeds off of it. And then I just, lots of work through here. So like I'll have to take the hoe through here over the next few days, and then the tiller can go between this area. And then here's my okra. You can kind of see where I had hoed through here a couple weeks ago, and then there's been 4th of July, and we traveled over 4th of July. And then it rained, and a nice good storm with lightning releases nitrogen into the air, and it settles, and the grass loves it. And it went whoosh. So I have peppers, and once again, you can kind of see where I had taken the hoe around them. And it is just time. And of course now everything's going to seed. And then my poor green peppers. My peppers are not strong. I think we never grew peppers when I was growing up. I don't know a lot about them. Those I'm still learning. So, I'm going to get a few peppers off of them. But I need to look up what to fertilize them with that would really help them kind of bush up through this summer, and how best to treat them, because I'm not really sure. I don't have it off the top of my head here, and it's really hard to see. And you can kind of see where I had like dug up and taken the hoe and like cleaned up this area, and it literally, I didn't do that area, and when I did this area, and the grass is just like vengeance coming back. Grass is crazy. But I have some tomato plants. They were my ones that didn't sell. So they're smaller than these, because honestly they just weren't given the space or the time or the attention they needed. But they really are popping up nicely. They're beefsteaks, not my favorite. And then it's not Roma, but something similar to Roma, and I don't remember the name off the top of my head. And these were planted last, so you can kind of see, like, you know, I cleared out a trench and kind of put stuff to the side, and I need to get them trellised, but they're not in too much of a rush. And behind those, I have nothing here. So once again, we're gonna till this, and then I'm going to lay down some compost, and then I'm going to lay down some tarps and prep it for fall. And I have to decide what I want for fall. The cucumbers, only 3 of them came up, so they are ready to get a trellis. Same with these are Cherokee Trail-a-Tear beans, named that because that's where they were first recorded. And I need to get them trellised. It is time. I think I want Andrew to do the tilling through here, which I think he can do this row, but I don't think he can do that row. But till around them, and then we'll pop them in. Then if I have to place a trellis kind of to the inside here and keep this open, we know. But I don't think I spaced them correctly for him to be able to till through here. You have to have at least 20 inches because it's got 19 inches, but you don't want to accidentally suck a plant in. In a minute, I will show you where we just tilled our strawberries and like the difference it makes when you actually get time and weather to till with. But it is extremely helpful. My sunflowers. I have 2 pumpkins. 1 pumpkin got stolen by something as soon as I planted it. So there's 2 pumpkins here. I don't remember if they're a decorative pumpkin or a pie pumpkin. I don't remember what I planted where. But they should be the same next to each other because I've got 3 pumpkins here, which I'm going to try to train this way. And 2 pumpkins there, which I don't know. Maybe towards me, maybe out. Maybe one this way, one that way. We'll see how I train it. This is my gym corn, which is honestly the most abused. And the place I should start with my hoe first and try to get a little bit around them done, because look at over there. It's insane. The importance of prep work, but also the fact that like stuff will grow if it even just has a chance, right? Like I'm gonna have plenty of food from this garden even though it's totally abused. The zucchini and the butternut squash I planted way too close together. Butternut squash is doing good. This guy is nice sized. There's another 1, 2, 3. I see there's a fifth over here. Be careful when I'm weeding around the corn because of the butternut squash in there, which they like each other, so I'm not super worried about that. I'm gonna till here and I'll plant a few more zucchini for the fall. See if there is any zucchini ready. Maybe I'm kind of battling squash vine borers, so I need to take this plant out, which we have everything else more space, but this plant is just as bad. You can see how dark that stem is, but the fruit off of it is still okay, and so we are picking it. Well, I guess I'm cooking you today. I'll see if those other two make it a little bit longer. And this one, yeah, I'm gonna end up just pulling these guys out. I've gotten some fruit off of them. Honestly, from these plants, I've mostly given fruit away, or veggies away, but they're technically a fruit. I haven't sprayed anything in my garden. I've done very little pest control, and honestly, I've had very little pest. I've had one hornworm, and that was back in the container garden on a volunteer, which I have just onions back there right now. I'm not gonna walk back there today. The corn's done for the season over there, the little container corn. And the baby poo was just a little small. Things didn't germinate the greatest, so the ears are too small for me to reasonably cook. I'm gonna let the rest go to just dry, and then I'll pull the seeds off for next year. And then we'll go from there over there. And then I'll prep for the fall and get those containers all tarped so I can then have a sterile seed bed even in those containers. So the peas are done. I'm going to harvest those when I get done with this video and bring all the stuff inside, and then I'm going to pull this. Set the stalks, I'm not sure where, because it needs to be somewhere where eventually it can come back into the garden. And then this bed, we're just going to let the strawberries take over, because they're putting out runners way more than the internet said that an evergreen puts out runners. So we're going to let them take over. And then this trellis, this was kind of a homemade trellis with wire, which is why it fell in a storm. It was too short, but this kind of tall trellis will then go over to the cucumbers, and so they can trellis up it. And then I'll have to figure out, because right now I have two garden or landscaping fences over there that I then have tied to a fishing line, and that helps keep rabbits out, because I had a rabbit coming and eating my strawberry tops. We should get a few strawberries. They have quite a few blossoms again, and they're just starting. We'll have a fall blush here, which, like, that's the boys. That's their choice. If they want to sell strawberries for ice cream, they can sell strawberries. It's not my choice from this garden. But there's people at church like, if you have extra, we'll buy them from you. We love strawberries. It'd be awesome to have fresh strawberries in the fall. Like, we'll see. But they're putting out a lot of runners, so I wouldn't be surprised if we had a nice little bloom of strawberries that may be even too much for the boys to eat all of them. So this patch we just tilled through, and you can see the difference that it's made. And this patch was actually worse, because for some reason we had a bunch of sticker bushes, cockaburs, trying to get up in there. Now I still have weeding around the strawberries to do. You can see tufts of grass, but way easier than what we were dealing with before. So when I planted, I put this around just to help a little bit, but also it doesn't block off our little runners here. And yeah, they're doing good. This will be a nice strawberry patch next year. We have picked all but a couple blooms, which honestly just got forgotten, but they were delicious. The one thing about the paper is it kind of makes weeding a little difficult, especially when it's just a hair dry. And it looks like it's gonna be dry for 2 weeks, which really, really sucks. Somebody ate the tops of those strawberries. I might have to take fishing line around here too. So that's where I've been faithfully weeding between the strawberry plants. And over here, I haven't quite gotten so well done. Focus over here has been pulling blooms. It also was because we have nothing in between the rows. Way too wet for a few days. And so it is now time to come in with the hoe here and hoe between at least this half, you know, first if in the next couple days, and we'll get that half later. So we're not doing bad. And I'm sure there are people whose garden look just like mine, and I'm just simply not embarrassed by it. It's my first year. I didn't prep correctly. I knew this would be a challenge, and we have talked about it the whole time, that we didn't prep correctly. We're gonna have weeds or have grass. So it's just a fact of life. It's a fact of a first garden. You tend to have more weeds. If you don't prep, either very little or at all, you're gonna have weeds. So don't be surprised. Like, we're not. We're not surprised by what we're dealing with. We're just dealing with it. And we're still gonna get plenty of food for this year, right? We haven't grown any of our food basically for the entire time we've been adults, because we've been in college or moving with his job. So anything we grow adds to the supply chain. Even if it was just the one bed of strawberries, adds to the supply chain. One bed of lettuces adds to the supply chain. So then it takes pressure off the supply chain. I don't get my panties in a bunch on how things are done as long as they're done. Because I read a quote, and it's not always true, but anything worth doing is worth doing halfway. Growing food is one of those things. Brushing your teeth is one of those things. It is better to brush your teeth a little bit than to not brush them at all. It is better to grow food, even when it's covered with weeds, than to not grow food at all. So, like I said, that doesn't include everything. Don't do CPR halfway. Do CPR all the way. Try your best. Do everything you can and focus on it greatly. But growing food is worth doing, even if... Oh, they're arguing. I was like, what is going on over there? They're just mad. Kids, you know. Well, this is our current garden. It is wild, crazy, yet beautiful. Thank you for being with us. I will update you probably later this week. I'm thinking he'll try to till tomorrow and Thursday. Tonight is church board meeting. Wednesday is farmer's market. So yeah, it'll be tomorrow or Thursday when he gets tilled, and it might be a little bit tomorrow, a little bit on Thursday. So we will see. I will try to get you an update. We are gonna go get the old truck from my parents' place. So we have a classic truck that was given to us by my husband's uncle when he passed away. We were in the will for that. We didn't know it. And then we're gonna go to my parents. I will do probably just a little snippet of my mom's tomato plants for a short or something because they're kind of pathetic. And we're going to talk about like fixing that problem because she's like, you need to come help me with this. She has horrible, horrible allergies. So even though we had a garden, actually she was very involved in the garden. She literally was like listening to my dad's mom about what to do, when to do it, and how to do it because when she's out there, like, you know, she's getting stuffy nose and her eyes are getting all kind of itchy because she's allergic to like everything green, and it's kind of ridiculous. So she's so bad that she can't eat lettuce in the summer or in the spring. A little bit in fall is okay, especially late fall. But when allergens are bad, she can't eat lettuce because it like just she's just overwhelmed. It's bad. So I will do an update on a tilled garden later, like I said, and I will do at least a short on my mom's garden and how I'm gonna help her fix it. Hopefully, it'll be okay. Thanks for being with us today. If you like us, hit that like button. If you want to follow along, hit that subscribe button. And thanks for being with us. God bless.